guys, it's Terence. I think we're gonna do something a little bit different today. I want to do kind of like show you how to structure it, like intro, verse, drop, whatever, build up, do something, and everybody uses sample packs. So for this video, I'm just gonna go ahead and use some samples from stuff just to make it a little bit easier because I don't want to have a 6-hour video. So we'll just try to do this as fast as we can, and hopefully you learn something. And I'll try to explain along the way, and we'll just do very basic, very basic, and just somewhere to start. So if you're feeling like lost, don't know where to start, this will be a good building block. It's what I do. I'm sure everybody does something different, but yeah. So I downloaded this pack, and it's got just all kinds of bunch of chord progressions. So I'm just going to use a random chord progression, see how it sounds. See how it sounds. I like that, so I think we'll just use that. We'll give it 8 bars, and then I usually like to start with a pad, so I'm just going to go ahead and clone. I'm also using Nexus. I'm using the expansion pack EDM leads and Big Progressive for this. So I'm just going to copy, and then I'm going to put pattern 2 and paste this, and then we'll get pattern 2 out there. And so I'm going to change pattern 1 because I usually kind of like to start with a pad, like I said. It's good. So we'll go back to here, and then I'm going to get rid of some of these notes. And let's switch this, and we'll find a pad. I'm just going to use the same sample pack if this sounds alright. This one's hello. Nah. I don't know. I do a lot of hardstyle, and I really like the pads that are in this one. They have some cool stuff. I like to layer a bunch of pads. The bass pad's pretty cool. But we need to move these notes up. So I held the control and then left mouse click and highlighted everything. And then if you hold control and hit your arrow up, moves up an octave. I also have a video on that too. You can check that out. So we'll start with that. That's pretty cool. See how these two sound together. That's pretty cool. So I usually just try to kind of do like a 15 to 30 second intro, and then kind of work like a build up, and then into a drop. So I try to hit my drop between 30 and 45 seconds just to kind of give it that break. So that way you're not waiting too long, and then you're not trying to build up a whole crap load. So for here, if you right click, you can track mode, you can assign an instrument track. And so with this one, if you go up here, it'll say use existing channel, and we're on the first Nexus, so we'll just do that. And then it'll route it into the playlist, and then we can click back in here in Nexus, and we can go to browse parameters, and then that'll put us in here. So anything we move, I also have a video for this too, anything we move, it will highlight for us. So make sure the master filter's on, and then we'll do that. And then we're going to right click, create automation clip, and then that gives us our automation. But I'm just going to start doing that, and then we'll put a point here. Let's see how that sounds. I also want to do it to this one, so we're also going to do the same thing. Track, instrument track. We'll do the same thing again. We're going to click this little drop down arrow, and then browse parameters, and then make sure our master is on, move it. We'll see our master clip. Right click, create automation clip, and then we can do the same thing. So I'm going to drop this all the way down because we don't need it in the beginning. Also, too, if you get this little thing, because you already did that, it kind of just helps you out. Just go ahead and right click, it'll get rid of it, and then we can move that where we want it. But we want this all the way down, and we want it to build up. So we'll see how that sounds. Cool. And then with automation clips, you have to make them, you have to give them a little bit of a tail, or it'll just cut back off when it repeats. If we were to copy and paste this and move it over, it would keep it at this last bit. So if we wanted to do it again, I'll show you that. So I think that's pretty good. Oops. I hate when it does that. So just go back to that. Okay, let's move forward. So we'll just copy and paste. Same thing, control, left mouse, it'll do that. Another pro tip, control and shift at the same time. You can highlight, or you can click, or you can unclick if you accidentally highlight some stuff that you don't want. So go ahead and take this over. Also, too, Control B will let you do that. I'm feeling a little hi-hat. So I bought the Vengeance sample packs. I think they're really good. I think everything in here is really phenomenal. But I'm feeling a little clap. See how that sounds. Well, let's do that off time. And just control, left click to highlight, shift, hold shift, and then you'll be able to move it over. And then do this. I really don't like the sound of that one. Let me try that. If you take and you drag, you can either drag into here and let it go and it'll replace it, or you can drag it over in here and it'll replace it. So that way you don't get a bunch of things filled up and then you have to worry about deleting. It's pretty neat. We'll mess with that. We'll dilly-dally with that a little bit later. But pattern 2, we're going to go ahead and switch this. We're going to make this. If you go right here, there's a little piano thing on the front of it. If you click it, you can make unique. And then that gives us a third pattern. And this is pattern 3, and this is what it was. So now we can click on pattern 3, make sure it's up here, and now we can have some fun. So let's... I'm control left clicking, and then I'll take this and we'll just get a little. We'll have to change that clap. Let's get rid of this clap. So let's go back to dun, dun, dun. I don't know. I probably should have premeditated something, but it's all good. We're firing off the hip here. Also, when you're in here, if you hit C, you can just quick cut it, and then B to go back to your tool. And then when I do stuff like this, so it doesn't hit right as, I like to here. Remember, just keep in mind this is super basic. So I think we'll do that. And then I'll copy. And then we'll also make this. This is our pad. We're gonna make this unique too. And then we'll click on this one and we will paste it. But remember, we have to take out all these top notes. And then we have to move this up. Control up arrow, we'll move it up. Let's see how that sounds. Just Control B. Just skip it ahead and you can just keep doing that. A 4-bar loop, and most risers are at least 8 bars. And we're going to use a sample and add some cool stuff to it anyway, so we'll just use a sample riser, just so you can kind of get basic structure. And so let's go back over this again. We have our intro that we filtered. Then we have our little bit of build up into this, which we just started giving it a little bit of rhythm. And then what we could do is we could change these two, which would change these as well, but we can also give it a little bit more 4 on the floor styles. Just depends on kind of what our riser is. I like to go back and add that stuff kind of once I get my idea out, because I feel like for me, and I know a lot of producers get stuck on this, but when you're trying to get your idea out of your head and you're trying to just get it laid out, if you start focusing on all the little details, you don't get the whole roadmap out. So this way, I can pretty much structure at least the beginning and the drop before I start doing that stuff. Because then, you know, I'll get to the next part and it's like, well, what was I doing? What now? I had it and then it's gone. You never get it back. So let's take a listen and just kind of see how this flows together. This little thing at the top here, if you drag it, you can drag it all the way back and it'll just start. It'll start the song, or you can drag it wherever you want. Now we're up there. So we'll see what it sounds like. Like it. So let's find a cool riser. Usually it's going to be like a fill, but we're on 150 or 140 BPM. So we got to find a fill that's in 140. I have a few of them. I know they're in here. Bum, 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 fills. Here we go. We'll just find something. These are going to be all short fills. That's right. My computer, my FLStudio just reset all of the settings. So I just spent the last couple hours getting it and I thought I was all good. But it looks like I'm not. So I know they're in here. Just don't know where they're at. Well, what we could do is we can go 128. Whoops, those are loops. We don't want loops. We want the fills. Long fills. Here we go. And then we're in F. We'll just drop this in, see where it's at. And then, so pro tip right here, you'll see it'll say Z cross and it'll say stretch. If you check this box, you can go over here until your 2 arrows and you can do that and it'll change the pitch. So we'll see if it sounds right, and if not, we'll fix it. Sounds a little bit. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to line up like that, but just for shoots and giggles, I will, for the next video, find where all my nice long loops are. Because I have a Fire, I did get a free sample pack. If you have FLStudio and you have purchased an Akai Fire, it's just for FLStudio, you get that, but so I think what we'll do is we're just going to go ahead for now and we will start a new pattern. And then we're just going to use Nexus. I have a pack in here that you can get on here. It's called Breaks and Risers. So they're pretty cool to just kind of get like ideas. But there we go, Breaks and Risers. Sorry, I'm sitting a lot further back because of this than I normally do, but we'll just do Adrenaline. And then we are F. The way Nexus works is it's kind of a sample base. You can do a lot with it in terms of manipulation, but it's a good just building block if you're just trying to get your idea out and start. You don't have to be super big into sound design to, you know, have fun. But it's in C, so this is where it would start, but we're not in C. We are in G. Just kidding, I think we're in F, actually. So, and then that said it was an 8-bar loop, so go ahead. And if, like, this was off right here, so I have it set to line, but you know, you just make sure it's there, and then you can control this, and then control Q, and it will quantize that start time. Here, I'll give you a better example. So, and then we will set this here. Start, see how that sets. So to get this to sound right, we need to also add this to, we need to lock it in, use existing channel. We're on Nexus 3. And we need to turn these down just a little bit, just because it's way overpowering, and we kind of want this right. And then what I like to do is I like to take, and I really liked this last little bit, so I think I'm going to go ahead and extend this. So I'll use the cut tool, and we will cut it here, and then hit B back for that, and then just extend this out. And it gives it, just kind of gives it the thing. Now the thing with Nexus, it's kind of a learning curve. That's why I like to use samples, because I can cut them, chop them, do whatever, resample them. It's pretty cool. But when you want to hear something, you have to start back over, because wherever you start, see, our build was right here, but it's going to start at the beginning, even though it should be at the end. So what we can do here is on pattern 5, we can right click and then render and replace. And this you know, these are my settings. You don't have to use them, but these are just kind of basic. I have to go back through and reset this, but I usually like at least a 24-bit stereo. I like to make sure that it's either 32 or a 64-point sync. Just kind of gives it a little bit better. And when I'm mixing down stems, I'll go ahead and use like 512 just because I want it to be top notch while I'm doing that. But you always want to enable master effects, and then I don't really save loop markers. It's whatever. I already know what all my stuff is. Now, if I was going to do this for like collaboration purposes and sending this out to somebody else, then yeah, whatever. But so now we have our thing, and we're going to cut this tail off so it's a little bit easier to use. And then now, but it looks like it cuts off right. So what we're going to do, we have a lot of reverb and delay on that, so we're just going to shorten this to here. Hear what that sounds like. Cool. So remember, it's just a start. We're going to pitch this up and do all that cool stuff. Dang, we're already 20 minutes in. Oh, it's crazy. Okie dokie. So we got our intro, kind of a little flavor into our little verse, and then now we have our build up. So we should get this drop out real quick just so we can get it out, get out of the way. This is where I like to find a nice kick, and I'm just going to use Vengeance, and we'll see what kind of kicks we can come up with. Not really feeling those. Ooh, I like that. It's not in our key, but that's okay. We can make that work. So just do this is where also those fills come in handy. We can just find a see what that sounds like. That'll give us just a good little ring just to get going, and we can replace that, do whatever in the future, but just to kind of keep us. But you can also do the same thing here. So we're gonna right click on the it's on track 6, so we'll right click track mode, audio track. We're gonna assign it to insert 4. So now this is tracked. So anything that we do, forgot to explain this earlier. So you see how it's Nexus and then it has this? Well, this is grouped with here, so I can get rid of the automation and then keep it, and I don't have to worry about grouping. So anything I do now that's tracked, any automation, it'll just stick with it. So this, I think this one's a little bit loud. So we'll just, and then we'll go back, we'll grab our kick, and we'll just do 4 on the floor. That's not right. So what I do is okay, see this, when I bring this in, it's a little bit, it doesn't have the tail that I want. So I'm going to bring it past, hit C, cut it. This is just a tip that I usually do. And then I double click, so now that'll come up. So I could keep doing it, but it also helps give me this. So now I can just do. And I don't have to worry about trimming or aligning or anything like that. It's all there. So we'll go ahead and do a 4-bar. We'll do a 4-bar on that too and see how that sounds. Sounds really weak though. So we'll go ahead and we will add maybe some cymbals to a closed hi-hat. And then I'm going to just go ahead and do the same thing because it's much easier to work with this way. need to just add it with, maybe do like a couple in between. Remember, this is just learning purposes. So I'm just kind of showing you guys what I do, and then you guys can take it and fly. But this is just gonna, when I get an idea in my head, so. Now that's where we need a good clap. That's what that sounds like. There we go. I like that. I'm not feeling that kick now. Let's see if we can find something different. Oh my gosh. That's nice. That's pretty cool. So thing being this had so much tail. Do that and then just highlight it, Control B. Boom, boom, boom. Man, that's got a lot of it's clipping very hard. It's clipping very hard. So we're just let's assign this to, so we can mess with the volume. Insert 5. Assign this to insert 6. Track mode, audio track, insert 7. You'll notice that it just assigns it. It doesn't label it or anything. If you just click here and then I think it's auto name, then you can go here and then see it named it. So then you don't have to worry about it. But I usually I keep the name sometimes, but just rename it to whatever's easier. But we'll see how that sounds. I do feel like we need to sidechain that. 2 ways of sidechaining. You can either get a really cool plugin from it's called Kickstart. It's not very expensive. Or if for FLStudio users, hit gross beat and then hit presets and go down to turntable and then, oh shoot, yeah, there it is, sidechain. And then now we have to mess. You hit empty here and then sidechain, so this will curb this. So we have to mess with this. Open the release up. Or you can always just go to, I think it's repeater, sidechain. But the kick is here, and then this would be the end of the kick. So all we got to do is just move it over. There we go. Checks, it doesn't sound too bad the other way, but I really like the sound of that kick. But actually, you know what? Let's do this. We'll just go back into something and click on it, so that way we can go back into repeater. Sidechain A. So basically what this is doing is it's taking the kick, and it's, if you look at each bar, you've got 30, and then there's 4 bars to make 1 bar. So basically what it's doing is it's cutting off this first part and then opening it up here so you get the end of that, which is actually a pretty cool feature, because that means we can go and we can use like a punchy kick, and then we can drop that in. Okay, so the other reason I didn't explain why I do it like this, because now I can't, it spaces it all goofy and it just keeps getting goofy. But if I cut this off, then I can double click, and then now I can, but even though I don't need to do that because my kicks aren't there, it's just a good habit to get into. Just go ahead and sub. That's wrong, isn't it? Sounds way cool, and then kind of gives us that little bassy effect. I'm not sure what I'm feeling yet on this, but what we can do is right here, it'll say audio. If you just hit the mouse wheel, you can scroll. This is unsorted. I haven't named it, but you can add a new filter group, which I have a video on it. Also on my YouTube, but we're just going to rename it just for sake of this, and we'll just name it leads and stuff. So now when I go through, it'll give me automation, which is the clips that we made there, which I'll have a video on, and then just our audio clips, and then everything, or our leads and stuff. So, excuse me. All right, so time to write a little lead. If no inspiration comes, which no inspiration is really coming to me right now, well, we're going to go scroll down and we'll just copy, and then we'll do a new track, and then just go ahead and clone the lead. I really like the lead that's on it, so paste here, but we're gonna switch this. We're just gonna leave it blank because I need to reassign it, but all these tracks are full, so we'll just go in through here. So I don't like that at all. So let's get rid of these bass notes. We don't need them. Man, that's really bassy. Let's see. Can get rid of. I just like to get rid of stuff until it. Actually, that's pretty cool. Let's do it an easier way. So we're going to go back to our chord progression, and then we're going to put this in our sampler. And then now, when we go in, we have these ghost notes we can work for. Ooh. Let's drag that back down. Alright, we can do it however. We can also just take the notes and then we can just ARP it. Bum, bum, bum. And then we can just play. Dun, 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 dun. And then maybe that could be okay. Can always just kind of see what this is. Just Control B. But let's change the sound, because that's not... Oh, we're in pad. That's why it sounds goofy. Well, you know what? That's cool. We can just take and copy this. And then we can open... Paste that. Just keep it in the same pattern. There's a really cool lead that I like. They usually kind of start with my bass layer, if I can remember. I think it might be this one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's mess with it. Let's add a little bit of legato. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There it is. That's cool. I also like to just kind of introduce sometimes my lead, my drop. I'm not thinking that I'm liking that too much, so let's go ahead and to lower that down. So we're in insert 6. So let's just drop that down a little bit. Yeah, we're still peaking hard, aren't we? So we need to assign these. So if you highlight this, these things, which you can click on it with just your left mouse click, or you can right click. If it's highlighted in something else, you can highlight it. And then Control L will assign it to its own mixer states. So then all you got to do is just make sure you track it, you know, do whatever. So that's pretty cool. So now that's that. Let's do some automation with this. So we're going to go into So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to browse parameters. And we're going to make sure our master cutoff is right there. Right click, create automation clip, and it'll give us a click all the way over. So I like to keep my stuff below. So let's do that. And then we want to make sure that the beginning is all the way off because we don't want it to come in. We want it to slowly rise in. And then I think for our 4-bar loop, bring it up and then cut it down. Have it re-rise. Maybe we'll keep it up just a little bit. And then just to keep it going. And then, you know, you can set another fill. And then you can change it however you'd like. So you can see what I mean. You just you can put a vocal over it, do whatever you want. So I'm thinking for our pad, which is up here, I think that we need to add the pad again, but I think we need to side chain it with the bass just to give it a little bit of fullness. So and just kind of have it come in. So we're on pattern 1 with this. So we're gonna go, whoops. Sorry, I keep clicking everything else. So we're gonna just do the same thing. Our filters on. Oh, I apologize. Ooh, we already did that. So we're on 1. We're gonna go ahead and add gross beat again, if we can find it. Where did you go? There it is. Sorry. We're going to go back to sidechain. Just to make sure that's what we want, we'll go back to the beginning. That actually sounds pretty cool too. next thing. So because I'm screencasting and I've got the recording going on and all this stuff, my computer lagged down a little bit there. So what I like to do is just take the patterns, render and replace. Takes about a second, and then I don't have to worry about it. Because then it's just playing audio at that point. It's not trying to compute MIDI. The hardest thing that a computer can do is convert MIDI. So it's ridiculous. Just right click. Excuse me. Then we got pattern 6. So all the automation that we already did will stay. Should have stayed. Sometimes you have to go back through and normalize. So everything is very quiet because I'm so used to working. That way I have a lot of headroom when I get into mixing and mastering. So I'm used to just keeping the volume low. No BD. Let's go back through. Boom, boom, boom. Where did our lead go? That's all right. Let's do this. We'll keep that, just see if it works. We'll save that. My CPU is staying pretty good, so and then yeah, if you want, you can just add some sound effects. See what we can find for effects. But we are in 140, so it's gonna be a little bit different. Just start this over. And then you can click this little arrow, make unique, and then it gives us here for the second one. So then drop this in. What I like to do, I like to take and reverse it. But we're not going to put it right there. We'll put it maybe right here. Turn those down just a little bit. That might be cool. Nah. Definitely. kind of give it some flavor. Whatever's clever. That's nice. I think I might actually like that a little bit more than. Bum here and there. You can, I mean, do whatever. That's your creative side, but that's just kind of my little walkthrough of how I complete a song. I'll just do this, and then, I'll just take this whole thing, copy and paste it, just so I can get the links, and then, wow, what's going on? What's happening? It's because I got everything in different tracks. So it asked me if I wanted to attach it to that, which I don't. But, and then, you can make it flow, add a or breaks, do whatever. I mean, get creative. That's how you do it. But then, look, you've already got the rest of, you got another build up, and then you got your drop, and then just make everything unique. Make this way better than this was, because you need to climax back to this part and make your drop even way better. Replace the sounds, make new melody, do whatever, make it awesome. But yeah, check out my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that cool stuff. Tell your friends. I hope it helps. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. If you have any other questions or future videos or anything you'd like me to do, I'm going to try to do daily videos. Yeah, I love doing music. I work on music every day, so why not help everybody else? So cool. Thank you guys very much. And yeah, happy producing. See ya.